NYC.
This street story is called Winston from the book The Morgue. They wheeled in the Hudson River killer, and Winston asked,
"What's he doing in here? I thought he was in prison." "Well, he started foaming at the mouth and suddenly died in his cell,"
the attendant said.
"You know the funniest thing, Winston? If you had a mustache, you could pass for this guy's brother."
He continued.
"Yeah, right. Just put him over there and I'll get to him."
The day went on without incident, and the bodies just piled up one after another. There were a few mangled bodies that came in along with the others. A bus had gone out of control and slammed into a crowd of 15 people, killing 4 of them and hospitalizing the rest. Some of the remains were so twisted with the head facing backwards on the body and legs and arms dangling by a ligament or just skin. Winston just tagged them and went on with his day. People came in and out talking to him about various different things, and he tried to sound interested, but he really just wanted to be left alone to do his work. Winston stopped after lunch and called his wife Betty and told her that he was working a double shift tonight and not to wait up. Winston had been married for 17 years to his childhood best friend, and at this point in his life he realized that he was not in love with her. She would tell all of her friends that the best night that she had was their honeymoon night, and after that, it was all downhill. Winston just had no desire for her, and he couldn't figure out why he even married her. He would have sex with her for 30 seconds and he was done, and that was only once a month. They went to therapy and counseling, and they even tried erectile dysfunction medication, but nothing helped. Sex to Winston was just an annoying necessity to keep his wife happy. He preferred his medical books and working on cadavers. He spent much more time at work than he did at home. The chief medical examiner came through before quitting for the day and barked at Winston.
"Listen, that Hudson River killer, Creep, is a priority, and the press will be all over us by the morning, so make sure that you dot all of your I's and cross all of your T's."
"Yes, sir. I won't let you down,"
Winston replied. Winston grumbled as he went to retrieve the killer's corpse and wheeled him into a space where he could work. He closed the doors and drew the shades in case any officers or other attendants tried to get pictures of the now infamous killer. Winston had his own collection of dead bodies hidden at his home. He took lots of pictures of dead famous people and all kinds of horrid mangled corpses. He pulled the sheet off of the body and he drew back for a minute because he had to catch himself, because it was like looking in the mirror. He moved in for a closer look at the facial features, and he felt a hand grasp his throat tightly as the eyes of what he thought was a dead body opened wide.
"Don't make a sound or I'll snap your skinny little neck,"
the killer said. Paralyzed with fear, Winston complied as the naked man stood up.
"Let's go in the bathroom and show me where there is a razor blade,"
the killer ordered.
"I read about you in the paper, and when I saw your picture, I knew you were my plan B,"
he continued. Once inside the bathroom, the killer forced Winston to sit on the toilet bowl as he shaved off his mustache and gathered up all of the fallen hairs. He led Winston back out to the table that he was lying on, and with a loud thud to the back of his head, Winston blacked out. When Winston awoke, he was lying naked in excruciating pain and he couldn't move or speak. He looked up in disbelief, and there was the man that looked just like him, standing up over him now.
"Surprised?"
the killer asked.
"I've glued my mustache hairs onto your face so that you look like me, and I have on your uniform, and I even combed my hair like yours. I think I'm going to like being you."
Winston's eyes teared up, and he tried to utter something, but only gurgling sounds came out.
"Oh, I severed your vocal cords, and I cut your spinal cord so that you can't move or talk. I'm looking through your wallet, and I think I'm going to pay your wife a visit. I'm sure you're wondering how I raised myself from the dead. I knew I was going to be captured, so I took a little pill that I got while I was in Haiti that once ingested gives the appearance of a heart attack. I used a little fizzy stuff to keep everyone from checking too closely when I foamed at the mouth. The pill only lasts for about 12 hours, and then you come back to life. I laid here for a couple more hours so that I could kind of copy your speech pattern."
How do I sound?
just like you?
The killer laughed as he packed a small bag and punched out Winston's time card.
Well, I hope you don't get into trouble for leaving work early and abandoning your job, Winston. But you'll be dead, so you won't get into any trouble. I'd love to slit your throat, but that might get the police on my trail before I make my getaway, so...
The killer pulled a plastic bag over Winston's face and watched in pleasure as Winston took his final breaths. The killer found his way out to the parking lot, telling anyone that he ran into on his way out that he wasn't feeling well. He played with Winston's alarm until he found out which car belonged to Winston. He jumped inside and off he went. He had looked up Winston's address and he was heading to his house. He stopped at a convenience store along the way, and when there were no customers in the store, he bashed the store owner over the head and jumped behind the register.
I'm going to need some extra cash to get out of the country, my friend. Sorry to inconvenience you,
the killer told him. He laughed as he slit his throat, and he calmly walked out of the store and continued his journey. When he pulled up in front of Winston's house, he pulled out the pictures of Winston and his wife and studied them. Not a bad-looking old broad. She's doable, he said to himself. The house was dark except for a small light in the upstairs window. The killer figured out which key it was, and he let himself in. As he got inside and closed the door, he heard a voice upstairs call to him.
Winston, is that you?
Betty asked.
Yeah.
He replied, trying to keep it short. He crept up the stairs, and the light that he saw in the window was a bathroom light. He went inside and refreshed himself and put on some of Winston's cologne. He looked inside of the bedroom to see the shape of a woman under the covers, and he turned out the bathroom light and went in and slipped under the covers. Very early the next morning, the police burst into the room, screaming,
"Don't move! Don't you move!"
Awakening out of his sleep, the killer realized that it was early morning and he was alone in the bed. The police grabbed him and threw the handcuffs on him. They took him downstairs and he passed by Betty, and she smiled wickedly at him. The killer couldn't understand how he had gotten caught. The reporters rushed to talk to Betty, and she told them the whole story. She told them that she knew that this man was not her husband. She slipped out of the bed early in the morning and called the job, and they checked and found her husband lying dead in the morgue. They raced over to the house, and she told them where the man was that was impersonating her husband. They all asked what was the one thing that gave him away. Betty replied,
Are you kidding? He made love to me for hours, and I knew that couldn't be my husband.
Well, that was a wild tale of identity and death. Join us next time on Street Stories NYC.
Gotta keep me a heater and watching my back, cause snakes moving deeper. Came from the bottom, was serving the people. Now it's big money, got lawyers and leases. Street Stories NYC, where the bosses be, where the youngest turn killers for they 17. Saw a lot of dreams getting lost in the code of the street. Make a milli, but you still gotta watch where you eat. Oh, no mercy here.
Nah.
North City, take your soul, leave you cold out here. Your loyalty don't come for free. So welcome to Street Stories NYC. Ooh, no mercy here. City, take your soul, leave you cold out here. Loyalty don't come for free. So welcome to Street Stories NYC.
Get the full 45 set collection, available now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.